Hello everyone. So today's lesson is going to be on how we can graph lines. So we've been working on writing the equation, and now we're going to learn how to graph the equation. You're going to have a couple of options in Google Classroom for how you can practice this and how you can submit evidence of your learning. But first, here's the lesson. So here is our equation right here. Y equals -1/2 x plus 3. So when we go to graph this, the very first thing we're going to do is identify our slope and then our y-intercept. So looking at this equation, remember our slope is what's attached to the x. So what's attached to the x is -1/2. So right here where it says m equals, I'm going to write -1/2. And then b stands for the y-intercept, and I see that that's +3. So when I go to graph this, I'm going to start at the y-intercept. Remember, this is the y-axis, and the y-intercept is 3. So at 3, I'm putting a point. Now my slope tells me how my line moves. Basically, where am I going to put my next point? My slope is -1/2. Since it's negative, I'm going to first count down 1 box, and then I'm going to go over to the right 2 boxes, 1, 2. That's my next point. Since I want to draw a line that covers the entire coordinate plane, I'm going to keep doing that so I get more points. So from this point, I'm going to follow the slope again, down 1 over 2, put a point. Same thing, down 1 over 2. Now, if I go down 1 here, I notice I can only go over 1. So that's the last point that I can put in this part of the graph. But I know it's a line that continues, and it would continue in that direction. So to get the points that would go in that direction, I'm going to reverse what I was doing. Instead of going down 1, I'm now going to go up 1. And instead of going to the right, I'm going to go 2 to the left and put a point right here. So I do it again, up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. I've now done all of the points I can fit on this, and so I'm going to draw the line itself. You can use anything you have at hand for a ruler. You line them up. Notice that, yes, these are all in a line. That means all my points are in the right place. I draw the line, and I put an arrow on each end to indicate that this line would continue on in both directions. For my next example, my equation is y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Remember, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. All right, my m is my slope, and it's what's attached to the x, so it's 2 over 3. And my b is over here. I have to be careful though, because I see it says minus 2. So to make it look like it usually would with the plus b, I'm going to change this to plus -2. That means my y-intercept is actually -2, not regular 2. All right, so to graph an equation, you always start at the y-intercept, -2. So here's my y-axis. Here's my -2. I put a point right there. My slope tells me how I move. My slope is 2 over 3. Remember, it's rise over run. This is a +2, so that means I'm going to go up 2 boxes. 1, 2, and then to the right 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. That's my next point. I'm going to continue this in order to find my next point. Up 2 boxes, right 3 boxes. I should notice I've run out of room right here. However, my line doesn't only exist right here, it also exists down here. So to continue it down here, go back to your y-intercept, and you're doing the opposite pattern. Instead of up 2, I'm now going to go down 2. 1, 2. Instead of to the right, I will go to the left. 1, 2, 3. And one more point. Go down 2, 1, 2, and to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. Those are all the points I can fit on my coordinate plane. I want to draw a line through all of those points. So I line them up with the edge of whatever's handy. Draw the line. and add the arrows to indicate that this is a line that continues. My last two examples are slightly special cases. I'm still doing the exact same process. I need to identify my slope and my y-intercept. So looking at this equation, y equals 3x minus 4. My slope is 3 because it's what's attached to the x, so m equals 3. And my b, my y-intercept, is like the one I did before. I see that this says minus 4, so I change it to plus a negative. That means my y-intercept is negative 4. So I'm still going to start at my y-intercept. This is my y-axis. Here's my negative 4. I put a point. And my slope is 3. It's positive, so I know I'm counting up 3. 1, 2, 3. However, I can't put a point right here. If I did, I would notice that my line is going to be straight up and down. And we learned earlier that that's one of the 4 types of slope. A line that is straight up and down that's vertical is undefined. It actually has a slope that's called undefined. So my slope can't just be 3. Instead, I need to think of it as 3 over 1. 3 over 1 is the exact same thing as 3 because if I divide any number by 1, it's still that same number. 12 divided by 1 would still be 12. Negative 5,000 divided by 1 would still be negative 5,000. So if my slope is 3, I should really think of it as 3 over 1. I'm going to rise 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3, and my run will be 1. And I put a point right there. So again, I'm going to go up 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3, and then go over 1. And I'm going to continue this until I run out of room. Up 3, over 1. Again, my line can't only exist on this side of the graph, so I need to check over here as well. And I reverse the pattern. I'm now going to count down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. And then I've run out of room. Go ahead and connect the dots like we've been doing. And put arrows on the end. So something you should notice is that if you go to connect your dots and you realize you can't, because let's say one of your points was over here, that means something went wrong with your points. You should start over. And by starting over, I mean go back to your y-intercept and then do each point again and see if you maybe made a mistake by going left instead of right, or maybe you went up instead of down. All right, my last example here. My equation is y equals 1/3 x. So remember, the slope-intercept form looks like this, mx plus b. So I have 1/3 x, which means I know my slope. My slope is 1 over 3. But I don't have anything over here for b. Does that mean there isn't a y-intercept? No, it means the y-intercept is 0. If I added 0 to this, it doesn't change my equation. So 0 must be where this line crosses the y-axis. And that's right here at the origin. So I put a point right here at the origin because that's my b. b equals 0. And then I use my slope to move. I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Reverse the process. Go back to the y-intercept, down 1 to the left 3, down 1 to the left 3. Check your work by making sure you can actually draw your line through all the points you've placed on your graph. And put arrows on the end. In Google Classroom, you have 4 problems that look exactly like the 4 I just did. What I want you to do, first, click on the link for the IXL activity. This gives you a chance to practice online with immediate feedback. It's going to give you an equation in slope-intercept form, just like the ones we have, and it's going to ask you to plot 2 points, and then it'll draw a line through those 2 points. You'll click submit, and it'll tell you if you're wrong or if you're right. If you're right, it gives you another one. If you were wrong, scroll down, it will take you through what you did wrong. So it'll give you each step of how to do it correct. Do a couple of those, do like 5. Once you feel like, I got this, then I want you to try the worksheet in Google Classroom. You have a couple of options. If you have a printer, you can print it out, complete it using a pencil, a pen, whatever you got at hand, take a picture of it, and then send it through Google Classroom. If you don't have a printer, if you're doing this on your phone, when you click on it, it'll allow you to edit it as a PDF, which means you can draw directly on your screen. So you can draw on your points and draw your lines. Then you would just submit as usual through Google Classroom. If you are working on a computer, it won't let you draw on it directly. So instead, if you're doing it on a computer, your options, if you don't have a printer, are basically to do the best you can and draw it by hand on another sheet of paper. If you draw it by hand, then take a picture and it should let you attach it in Google Classroom and submit as usual. If you have any issues with the technical aspects, please feel free to reach out to me. If nothing else works, draw it by hand and take a picture and send it to me as an email, okay? All right, guys, do your best, and I will hopefully see you virtually pretty soon.